In data summary and presentation, you are going to learn on how to summarize the data and present it graphically and numerically. What is the available kind of chart that you can use to represent your data, your summary of your data, and how to present it numerically. Okay, so in other words, this is descriptive statistic. Okay, so once the data is collected, engineer need to organize the data in the form of data summary and presentation. So if you have an abundance of data that is not organized, right, it will be not really useful, right? Because you can't really, yes, you can find out information out of that, the whole abundance of data eventually, but it will take a lot of time. It is inefficient. So that's why we are going to do summary, so that you'll be able to show the information, right, good data for for your client or for your audience, right, at a glance. You don't need to really, browse through all of the data. Okay, so however, before we can choose, or before we can summarize the data by using a suitable graphical or numerical representation, you need to know the types of variable, because different types of variable will require you to use different type of tools. Okay, so if you make a mistake, right, of course you will have biased information there, right, wrong information. So let's see type of variable, right? Some of the variable can be measured numerically, right, such as mathematics score, and some other variable can't, right? For example here, skin color, or we can have also gender and things, right? Therefore, we can classify this kind of information into two, which is qualitative variable and quantitative variable. So for quantitative variable, right, it is all of the variable that have a data that can be quantified. You can calculate. As for qualitative variable, all of the variable that contain data that can't be quantified. Right, this is the main differences. Okay, so what is qualitative data here, right? Deals with description. As for quantitative, deals with numerical values, and described by quality, described by quantity, right? And then you can, the basic way, as I said, to determine whether it is qualitative or quantitative variable is by looking at the data and try to quantify it, try to calculate it. If you can come out with a calculation that will give a useful information, then it is a quantitative variable. Why did I say useful information? Because sometimes there is a qualitative variable in the form of number. For example, your metric numbers or your identity card numbers, right? Just imagine, if let's say I want you to calculate, let's talk again about let's say mathematical test score. If I were to calculate to find the average of that score, will it be useful to me? Yes, because I should be able to come out with, maybe talk about the performance of mathematics in that class. However, what useful information that can I have if I were to find out the average of your metric number or identity card? I can, because it is numbers, I can sum it and divide it by, just to find an average. However, what will be useful for? No, I can't really conclude anything based on the average of your metric number. That is what it means by quantify and get a useful information. That is quantitative variable. So basically, metric number, identity card number is a qualitative variable. Yes, you can quantify it, but you can't really give, it can't really get you a useful information. Okay, so let's go a little bit more specific. For qualitative variable, which is also known as categorical variable, because for qualitative normally it can be categorized. We can have two kind of qualitative variable, which is nominal and ordinal. Okay, nominal and ordinal. Sorry, three kind. You have nominal, ordinal, and binary. Okay, so nominal cannot, for nominal it is actually in form of name, right? It is known as nominal, so cannot be ordered or ranked two or more categories. Okay, this is the description of nominal. So in other words, let's look at example here. Example of nominal data, yeah, you have gender or city, religion, race. So this is all the nominal where you have names that you can't really order, right? Let's say gender, you have male and female. How do you order that? Right? We don't really have an order. You cannot really put this is number one, this is number two, out of nowhere, right? So they can't really be ordered. What can be done with nominal? You can't really calculate, you can't really quantify it. However, there is one thing that can be done with nominal, which is count. You can find the frequency, you can count nominal. So for example, I can find out how many male students in my class and how many female students in my class, and that is the only thing that can be done with nominal variables, right? Not really useful, right? And then next we have ordinal. Ordinal here is qualitative, but it has one extra feature that can be done, which is we can order it. We not really, we can actually arrange it, okay, or can be ranked. So for example, here you have education level, you have Olympic medal result, and then you have exam grade, tumor size, university ranking. So all of this has information that can be ranked, right? You can arrange it, right? You have low to high, that is ordinal. So ordinal also, in ordinal also we can count, right? So for nominal you can just count, for ordinal you can count plus you can rank, and then in binary, okay, this is actually an extra category. I'm not really going to focus on this, right? This is you can only have one form of information here, 0 and 1, okay, true false. Right? This is only a two-way, that's why it's known as binary. And then that is all the categorical variable, qualitative variable. Next we go to quantitative variable. Okay, this is usually the data that we want to have, because there is a lot of things that we can do with it, and we can analyze it deeply to find to come out with a good decision. So we have discrete and continuous. These are the two kind of quantitative variable. Okay, discrete and continuous, right? The difference is if you look in terms of words, discrete is countable and continuous is not countable. We can't really count it, right? Because for discrete, it can only exist in a whole number. So you have 0, after 0 is 1, after 1 is 2, after 2 is 3, or whole number. As for continuous, right, you cannot really count it, but you can measure it because it can exist in decimal places. So for discrete just now, after 0 you have 1, right? Basically, what is the number that you have between 0 and 1? 1, or 1 only. However, as for continuous, what is the value between 0 and 1? Right? It is actually almost, we can't really say that 10 or 11, no, because after 0 you can have 0.000000001, for example, or you can also go a lot more further in the decimal. So basically it is almost infinite, right? So that is why it can't really be counted, it can be measured. Okay, so that is the difference between discrete and continuous. One is one have no decimal and the other one has decimal. So that is quantitative variable, and of course we can quantify the data. So this arrangement is not just being arranged out of nowhere, right? This arrangement is actually represent the richness of data, that the richness of information that can be obtained out of this variable. So for this one you can only count it, for this one you can count it and also rank it. So the richness of data actually up one level. And then we'll just go to this one. For discrete, you can count it, you can arrange it, you can also quantify using all of the mathematical operation possible. Right? We have plus, minus, divide, and also multiply. The same for continuous. This is the if you have continuous data, right, it is actually known as the high data with highest richness of information available. So if you have continuous and discrete, right, you can actually come out with a lot of informations. Okay, so that is qualitative and quantitative. All in all, both of the data is important for you to use in giving conclusion later. So another things that you need to know in data, not just the type of data, right? This is also another thing that you need to know, the group and ungrouped data. So if the data that you have is actually just in this kind of you have each data, let's say, it is known as a group data. However, if the data given to you is in a form of frequency table, it is known as a group data. So basically ungrouped data is better than group data because you have all of the data and you can give a more accurate decision. Okay, so right, so in the next video we're going to talk in detail on graphical data presentation and also numerical data presentation. Right, thank you.